You think your home is safe. Watch this. 7 clips, 7 ordinary moments that rearrange the familiar into something you can't easily explain. Each one was shot on a phone, uploaded by someone who still doesn't have an answer. Watch closely. Judge for yourself. And if you have a strange clip, send it to submit@strangeclips.com. We might feature it. Clip 1. Bedroom blinds and door. A father is playing quietly with his young daughter, their voices soft in a dim bedroom late in the evening. The camera is handheld, casual, the kind of clip you take to capture a laugh or a silly face. The blinds hang closed over the window behind the bed. Suddenly, the blinds shiver as if swept by a breath that shouldn't be there. The slats rattle once, twice. The bedroom door, which had been shut, swings open by itself, catching on the jamb and then nudging wider. The light that had been steady flickers. On the video, the switch moves as if someone reached for it, and the light goes out in a slow, mechanical blink. The child laughs nervously. The father freezes, his voice barely audible, asking, Was that you?" He scans the doorway with his phone like a flashlight. Later, the uploader says they felt no draft and that the door had been latched closed earlier in the evening. They checked the window locks. They say the house hasn't had issues with wiring. Neighbors reported nothing unusual. A plain explanation could be a draft down the hallway, an uneven latch, or an electrical hiccup. Old homes settle, switches stick, pets or air pressure changes can create surprising movement. The blinds motion could be amplified by camera compression or wind from a vent. Yet the timing, the sequence, the blinds first, then the door and the light, makes a pattern that's hard to dismiss as pure coincidence. Could something unseen have moved through that room, or is this a chain of mundane events that just happened to line up at the wrong moment? What would you do if the door opened and the light went out while your child was there? If you thought that was strange, wait until you hear what's captured in Clip 2. Clip 2. Hotel knocks and whispering. A woman films a late-night skincare routine in a small hotel room along a foggy stretch of the Lake District. She records herself applying a face mask, the glow of city lights through the curtains. Halfway through the video, there's a soft, deliberate knock at the door, 3 distinct raps, followed by a low thud on one of the walls. She pauses the camera, whispers that she didn't expect anyone, and steps toward the door. When she opens it, there's only an empty corridor and the muted hum of distant heating pipes. She calls reception, then films again. As she moves the phone across the room, the camera audio picks up a faint whispering, indistinct syllables layered under the corridor's ambient noise. She swings the phone toward the window and films the dark grounds outside. No one is visible.
Later in the clip, she coughs nervously and says she slept very little the next night. The uploader later posted that reception sent someone to check and found no signs of a visitor, and that surveillance footage showed only the night staff doing routine rounds. She removed some items from the dresser and put them in the hallway to see if anything else moved. Nothing did. Mechanical explanations are plausible. Pipes in older hotels create thumps and knocks as they expand and contract. The building's HVAC system can set up pressure pulses that sound like knocks. Thin walls and hallways echo in strange ways. Audio artifacts from the phone's microphone can turn distant sounds into something that resembles whispering. Still, the precise 3-knock pattern, followed by a distinct thud, then whispering on the audio, those details tug at the uncanny. Was someone trying to get her attention? Or is the building simply protesting in ways that sound human? Close the curtains, or keep watching. Clip 3. The face in the bushes. A man walks towards his backyard after dark to retrieve something from a shed. He films on his phone with a flashlight app on, scanning the dark line of hedges that border his yard. At first, nothing is visible. Then the camera catches movement, a pale shape between the leaves. For a heartbeat, it looks like a face, an older, pale face peering out, eyes unblinking, set oddly against the foliage. He freezes, whispers, "What the?" and the figure recedes into the bushes, swallowed by shadow and leaves. He circles the perimeter and finds nothing tangible. No footprints, no discarded clothing, no obvious place a person had been hiding. He posts the clip online asking neighbors if they saw anyone come by that night. Neighbors later told him they had no record of visitors. He checked his home cameras. They showed a quick flash of something moving among the bushes, but no clear identity. He says he feels watched in his garden now. Here, there are several rational possibilities. A reflection of a streetlight on a stray plastic bag, a cleverly arranged doll face tucked into the hedge, or a trick of light and shadow making a patch of bark look like eyes and a mouth. Camera sensors struggle in low light. Compression can turn noise into forms that read as human faces. But face pareidolia, our brains wired to find faces, doesn't necessarily explain why the shape withdrew exactly when he stepped closer, or why other cameras registered motion in the same spot. Was someone actually crouched among the leaves, or is your mind completing a pattern from partial signals? If a stranger had been there, what would you have done next? If you thought that gave you chills, wait until you see the next scene. Animals notice what we miss. Clip 4. Cat, Broom, and the Silent Stir. A short clip shows a kitchen where a cat sits perched on the counter, tail twitching, eyes locked on the corner of a pantry where a broom leans upright.
The camera, placed casually on a table, captures a slow, almost deliberate rocking of the broom, despite no one nearby. The bristles begin to scrape the tile, then the handle tilts and the broom topples toward the cat. The cat flinches, arches, then stares, as if something invisible nudged the object. The uploader films the cat's reaction closely. She laughs nervously on camera, asking if a draft knocked it over, then turns the phone to the closed window, curtains still, and to the hallway door, closed. She later posted that the house was locked and no one had entered. She checked the broom's base for wind or vibration and found none. She admitted she doesn't like being alone in the room now. There are simple mechanics to consider. A poorly balanced broom can tip when its center of gravity shifts. A vibration from a washer or a heavy truck passing could create motion. Pets can jump on counters and nudge items. Footage sometimes misses a quick cat hop that happened off-screen. Phones also occasionally catch motion blur that exaggerates subtle movement. But many viewers find animals' reactions the most persuasive part. Pets often sense things before humans do. Why did the cat fixate on that corner? Did it see a shadow we can't see? Or is this just a mundane tumble that looks eerie when framed in the right way? If your skin is crawling, wait. The next clip is one that made a hospital visitor uneasy. Clip 5. Face in a parked car. A man sits in the hospital parking lot late at night, leaning on his vehicle while he waits for a family member to be discharged. He records a few moments of the empty lot, headlights across the asphalt, then points the camera at the car next to him. In the passenger window of the parked car next to him, for a second, a white, gaunt face seems to peer back, pale, expressionless, and not matching the lower shape of the interior. The reflection in the glass shifts and then vanishes. He zooms in. The face isn't present in the next frame. On his video, the face appears only in the window's reflection, not inside the car. He told viewers he waited and watched the lot for a while and never saw anyone get into that vehicle. Hospital security later confirmed no one left a vehicle idling in that spot at that time, but they couldn't locate footage that showed a person leaving the line. He says the face unsettled him so much he left earlier than planned. Possible physical explanations: reflections of interior lights, someone reflected from another car's window, or a headlight catching a disposable coffee cup or jacket in a way that reads as a face. Glass and low light can play hide-and-seek with what we think we see. Camera compression and pixelation add to the ambiguity. Yet the face's composition, a clear oval, 2 dark hollows for eyes, triggers an instinctive reaction. Why does a fleeting reflection register as something human and staring back at you? Are our eyes inventing threats in moments of stress, or did something press its face to the glass? If you thought that was unnerving, prepare for the next one. It goes straight for the primal part of fear. Clip 6. Screams in the forest. A dog walker in a wooded area south of Amsterdam films while his dog sniffs along a trail at dusk. The trees press close, branches muting sound. He pans the phone to follow the dog, and far ahead, a long, piercing scream slices through the hush, human-like, high-pitched, and desperate. It doesn't sound like an animal at first. It has cadence and pitch that mimic a human wail. He darts forward toward where the noise came from, but finds only an empty path, scattered leaves, and a few rusted bikes abandoned near a fence. He calls out. Nothing answers. He posts an audio clip of the scream with the video and asks if anyone knows what that noise could be. Comments flooded with guesses. Experts and commenters suggested it might be a fox. Red foxes can produce eerie vocalizations that sound astonishingly human. It could also be a bird, or a recording played by neighbors, or even a child playing a prank. Some viewers insisted it was a call for help. The uploader said he checked with local shelters and police. No missing person report matched what he experienced that night. Acoustically, woods warp and elongate sound. An owl or fox can produce tones that our ears interpret as something else. The biological explanation isn't comforting to many because those animal sounds can mimic human emotions. On the flip side, an intense, human-like scream in otherwise empty woods touches a deep, ancestral fear. The idea that someone else is in the thicket, lost or hurt. If you heard that sound all alone at dusk, would you investigate or would you run? If you were unsettled by that cry, brace yourself. The final clip makes a toy feel like a threat. Clip 7. Santa doll moves, dog reacts. A family posts a short, grainy clip filmed in their living room during the holidays. A plush Santa Claus doll sits on a mantel, small and innocuous. Their dog lies on the rug, head down, occasionally glancing at the mantel. The camera captures a moment when the Santa doll tips forward as though lurching off the shelf. It moves just enough to seem like a push.
The dog bolts upright, growls, then barks aggressively at the mantel. The family rushes into the room off camera, and the video ends with someone muttering that the dog won't stop staring. Later, the uploader reveals they initially thought a gust from the hallway had knocked Santa, but the doll was heavier than that and the shelf was steady. They placed another phone in the room and recorded overnight. Nothing more happened, though the dog remained unnerved for days. Plenty of benign reasons exist. The doll may have been balanced precariously. Vibrations from slamming doors or footsteps above can cause objects to shift. A small family member or pet could have bumped the mantel off camera.
Yet, viewers point out that the dog's behavior is the most compelling element, the sudden, focused alarm that animals detect when they detect something odd. Dogs detect low-frequency sounds, subtle motions, and scents we miss. The dog barking at the empty mantel is a reminder that animals experience a different world. So where does this leave us? A falling toy is easily explained. A dog's visceral reaction is not. Final thoughts: the unresolved. 7 clips, 7 moments that start ordinary and bend into the uncanny. Blinds shivering, a knock with no visitor, a pale face in the bushes, a broom that tips itself, a reflection that reads as a stare, a scream that tears through the woods, and a doll that appears to move, while a dog reacts like it senses something unlawful. For each video, plausible explanations exist: drafts, wiring, reflections, animal calls, camera artifacts, or human misperception. And yet, in every clip, something resists neat categorization: timing that feels deliberate, animals that lock on to unseen stimuli, and patterns that replicate across different nights and locations. We are left with questions more than answers. Do these clips prove anything beyond being strange snapshots of real life? No, none offers incontrovertible proof of paranormal activity, but they do show how thin the barrier is between the familiar and the inexplicable. They remind us that private spaces, bedrooms, hotel rooms, backyards, are vulnerable to whatever the night holds, whether mechanical, natural, or perhaps to some, supernatural. Before you go, which clip left you speechless? Which one do you think has a perfectly ordinary explanation, and which one unsettles you more than all the rest? Tell us in the comments which moment you couldn't shrug off. If you have footage like this and want to share it, send your clip to submit@strangeclips.com. We may feature it in a future video. And one more thing, if you ever encounter something unknown, don't put yourself at risk. Call someone, stay in a public area, and let professionals handle suspicious situations. If you want more unexplained footage, hit subscribe and send your clips to submit@strangeclips.com. Which of these 7 encounters will you be thinking about tonight?